I think that's all of us right now. All right, you're taking a live look at Rancho Cordova's Hagen Community Park tonight. The 4th of July celebrations are certainly already underway. Rancho Cordova is holding a 2-day celebration complete with a carnival and a fireworks and drone show that will start at 9:30 tonight. We are also in the thick of holiday travel. A record number of people turned up at the airport this weekend, and thousands of people just waited hours to get into Yosemite. So we'll have a closer look at the chaos coming up a little bit later in the show. And of course, you already know we're going to be talking about that record-breaking heat. The triple digits did not stop people from showing up to the Folsom Pro Rodeo. It was 109 degrees in the region yesterday. Still, all 3 days of the rodeo sold out. The last night of the event is tonight, though. And Monica, the good news is that we're starting to see a little bit cooler weather for the 4th, so that's not too bad, right?
Right. We have that breeze picking up, and that's going to continue to bring us a more mild weather pattern, especially for the 4th. Currently, that breeze at about 10 to 25 miles per hour, most notably right along that I-80 line. So we're down about 15 to 20 degrees for places like Sacramento, Fairfield, and Santa Rosa. It kind of trickles off as we head towards the eastern side of the valley and through the foothills, where we're actually seeing warmer temperatures in a place like Auburn at 91, then say Sacramento at 88 degrees, still at 102 for Oroville, and we finally dropped into the 90s for Stockton and Modesto. Hour by hour forecast for tonight. If you are heading out to one of those displays, should be nice. Bring a jacket. Shortly after sunset, we're dropping those temperatures into the 70s. That ridge of high pressure, it is starting to weaken, and we're going to see some pretty favorable weather over the next couple of days, including our air quality in the good to moderate range. But if you're at one of those fireworks displays, it will get into the very unhealthy range by the time we get to about 10 to 11 o'clock, and that's just because the smoke tends to settle into the lowest parts of the valley, where we still have a fairly decent fire potential here with those recent warm temperatures. It is drawing things out really quickly throughout the valley. So just be aware of that. Not so much for the foothills and Sierra. So tomorrow's forecast is looking pretty good here. We've got temperatures right around 90 for an afternoon high, and then we're dropping into the 60s, like I said, at 10 p.m. So we should see some pretty nice temperatures. 80s up top for the Sierra, 80s and 90s down the hill, just sprinkling in a couple of 100s there. 60s along the coast, and as we head inland, again, those highs are going to be in the 90s to right around 100.
Thanks, Monica. And here's a reminder to be safe with fireworks. Contra Costa County Fire, they held this controlled demonstration last week to show just how fast a sparkler can start a fire. This field, it burned within minutes. So make sure that you soak your fireworks before you put them in the trash. And remember, any firework that goes up in the air is considered illegal in California. You can possibly face some fines. All right, let's get you caught up on some of the other stories we're talking about today. A man just pled guilty to shooting and killing a 10-year-old in Olivehurst. There was a fight inside a home followed by gunfire. One of the bullets hit the front door and a ping pong table and then struck a 10-year-old. His name was Frankie Rosiles. 31-year-old Juan Ortiz is facing 35 years to life. And it has been 1 year since Greg Najee Grimes, an Natomas football coach, was shot and killed in Midtown Sacramento. We caught up with his family over the weekend outside of his gravesite, and they have really made it their mission to make positive changes in the community because they say that's what Najee would have done. His family launched the Greg Najee Grimes 212 Anchor Foundation to provide scholarships to young athletes, raise awareness on gun violence, and hold workshops with life-saving tools.
These are things that Najee already wanted to do, so we're actually expanding his legacy.
The Najee Grimes 212 Anchor Foundation is still taking donations and partnerships to fund scholarships, and we do have a link posted on our website at abc10.com. And a Del Paso Heights man says that he is angry at some of his neighbors who continue to spray paint graffiti on his fence. He says the problem has been happening for months, and now things have turned violent. He says that he was assaulted by those that he believes are responsible. In tonight's Main Point, ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen is hearing from him and hearing about his frustrations and is asking how the city is responding to all of this. Jeannie?
Alex, that man tells me this has been a problem for a year, and he's losing his patience with having to constantly clean up after the graffiti has been spray painted on his property. And what makes him most frustrated, he tells me, he feels like these people will never get caught and that he will always have to be the one to clean up their mess.
I wanted a place where I could retire.
That was the idea when Guy Chase moved into this Del Paso Heights neighborhood 5 years ago. But since the last year, his neighborhood has seen its share of graffiti, and it keeps popping up on his own fence. He says he calls police but gets transferred to 311.
They came up and put signs along this fence. Said there's like $1,000 fine for leaving graffiti or vandalism, something like that. And within a couple of days, every single sign was tagged.
Following each incident, Chase would have to clean up the mess himself.
I started getting the letters from the city because I was violating some code by not painting over it fast enough.
All of this while the people actually responsible, he believes, avoid the consequences of their actions.
There's a more severe penalty for us as a victim of a crime than there is for the criminal. Because if we don't paint this fast enough, we get a letter and the threat of a fine, which is completely absurd.
2 weeks ago, Chase says he tried to take matters into his own hands by catching those responsible in the act, but things took a turn for the worse.
I'm face down on the street right here. When I came to, my neighbors had carried me over to the side of the street and had called an ambulance. So I don't even remember being assaulted.
His neighbor, Ramona Landeros, is motivated to help bring positive changes to the area. She's also running for Sacramento City Council.
We come together and support our community members and anyone who needs that support, especially when it's so close to home.
A City of Sacramento spokesperson tells ABC 10 it's the homeowner's responsibility to remove the graffiti. He has received warnings about it, and the city has also provided him with free paint. Chase says he's still frustrated and wants those responsible to know.
I'm not scared at all. I'm angry. This is my home, and some child does not have the right to tell me that this is their wall to destroy however they wish.
A spokesperson with Sacramento Police tell me it takes the presence of graffiti seriously, and the North Violent Crime Reduction Team will continue to do follow-ups on these incidents. Alex, back to you.
Thanks, Jeannie. And we also spoke to the Sacramento Police about this issue. They say that they work closely with the city's Code Compliance Division to promote their graffiti abatement program. They urge people to report graffiti to their non-emergency line. That number is 916-808-5471. Coming up next on To The Point, part of the state capitol was torn down today. Yeah, take a look at that. It's all part of their lengthy construction project. We'll be explaining later in the show. Plus, West Nile activity is on the rise in our region and why you should really take it seriously, how you can help fight the bite. We're back after this. So if you're thinking about heading out to Yosemite National Park, we want you to know it could take hours to get through the front gates. What you're looking at right next to me is all the traffic from Father's Day and Juneteenth weekend, and things have only gotten worse. I mean, people are reporting up to 5 hours just to get inside. So if you do want to go, the main piece of advice is arrive early, like before 8 a.m. and then also stay late. Plan to visit the park during the week instead of weekends. And if you want to wait out that line, make sure that you have enough snacks and water inside your car so you're prepared. And it's not just Yosemite. Record crowds were reported at the airport this weekend. And if you got stuck in all of the travel mess last week, well, there might be some free stuff coming your way. Take a look.
A record-breaking holiday travel week is underway on the roads and in the skies. The TSA says it screened over 2 million passengers on Friday. That's the largest number the agency has ever recorded in a single day. But it's not without concerns. Right now, the FAA is investigating after 4 passengers and 3 flight attendants were hurt on a Hawaiian Airlines flight. Severe turbulence busted open the ceiling of a plane, and a passenger was thrown into the air and left a mark on the ceiling.
There was a man in front of us who had gone all the way up, hit his head on the roof and dropped back down.
And after last week, when thousands of flights were delayed and canceled, United CEO is now apologizing for taking a private jet in the midst of the chaos. The airline is also now offering 30,000 free miles to United passengers who were delayed overnight or didn't reach their destination at all.
And United says that they are going to be sending information to passengers on how you can get those 30,000 free miles. So if you were caught up in the mess last week, make sure that you check out for your email for all that information. All right, the July 4th holiday is getting some NBA basketball. The Summer California Classic is back at the Golden One Center this week. And here's the schedule for tonight and July 5th. And what that would look like. So the Kings are taking on the Warriors again. It's an NBA playoffs rematch. The game starting at 7. Our Kevin John inside the Golden One Center with all the excitement. And Kevin, I think the biggest question is, are we going to light that beam?
You know, a lot of these fans are hoping to see the beam tonight, what? I just received confirmation from the Kings staff that the beam is only reserved for regular season and postseason games. So unfortunately, no beam tonight. But you know what these fans do get to see? As soon as they come in, Alex, they get to take a look at the Kings' brand new shiny threads. These are the new jerseys. They are on display as soon as fans walk inside of Golden One Center. I actually have some video as well of these threads so you can take a closer look at them. Both De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis are modeling these new threads. Now, you'll notice that there's not a lot of purple in these brand new uniforms, the primary colors being white and black. That was part of the reason, or shall I say the new part of these threads, is they wanted to kind of get away from the purple and use white and black as their primary colors. But I'll say this, those new jerseys are definitely swagged out, and a lot of fans are already here looking forward to purchase these jerseys. Now, they will also be displaying or unveiling another jersey on Wednesday, because that's when the other games will be here. But once again, the big game coming up in about 20 minutes. The Sacramento Kings will be taking on the Golden State Warriors. Of course, this will be a rematch of the playoff series just a couple of months ago. I'll have much more on this game and a full recap coming up at 11 o'clock tonight. Alex.
All right, Kevin, sounds great. All right, after the break, West Nile activity is on the rise in our region, and we should really take it seriously how you can help fight the bite after the break. So your eyes are not deceiving you. That's the state capitol being torn down. The eastern part of the building is now coming down so it can be brought up to code. This is called the State Capitol Annex Project, and the project is expected to take years. All right, now to a story that many of us in the newsroom, it has us thinking differently about the West Nile virus. So today, the Sacramento Yolo Mosquito and Vector Control District put out a warning about increasing West Nile virus activity. They are especially focusing on South Natomas in the area between Elder Creek Road and Florin Road west of Power Inn. Mosquitoes and dead birds have tested positive for West Nile virus in Sacramento County. And now Vector Control is urging people to do everything that they can to protect themselves. And this is really no joke. There's a reason people are encouraged to fight the bite. So tonight, our John Bartel introduces you to someone that contracted West Nile virus and nearly died. And years later, she is still suffering. Take a look.
Just one bite.
And I remember being in my garden, seeing all these mosquitoes.
One bite is all it took to change Marie Hillman's life forever.
I'm not older. I was a healthy 40-year-old woman that was very, very active with a lot of energy. And it's changed my life.
In the summer of 2006, Marie Hillman was working in her yard in Winters when a mosquito infected with West Nile virus bit her.
A lot of fatigue. And then by that evening, vertigo, nausea, extreme nausea, to the point I was like crawling to the bathroom.
It would take doctors several visits and misdiagnoses before discovering that the virus was inside Marie.
And by the time I got to the top of my head, it felt like two cast iron skillets just hitting me, and I would leave out a scream and I'd pass out.
There is no cure for West Nile virus. Doctors can only help manage the pain. So all Marie's family could do was watch as the symptoms got worse.
I guess I was in a coma, I was told, and my husband had signed my DNR, and my organs started shutting down.
Thought to be on her deathbed, Marie miraculously woke up from her coma 15 days later. She was alive, but the symptoms of the virus would follow her forever.
Vision loss, light sensitivity, optical nerve damage in both of my eyes, dizziness, and now I have seizures. Didn't know I was having seizures. I've had 2 strokes. I'm on meds for the rest of my life.
West Nile virus is in the Sacramento Valley now, and because of our wet spring, the Sacramento Yolo County Mosquito and Vector Control District is urging people to prepare.
West Nile virus is our top priority because that's the one that obviously, the one that we know is here, and we know that it affects people, year after year.
Luz Maria Robles says West Nile virus is now considered an endemic, and since 2003, there's been more than 7,600 Californians that have been seriously infected, and more than 300 of them have died from the virus.
This is a collaborative effort. We can't do this alone. We really ask for people to do their part.
West Nile virus generally starts in birds, and if mosquitoes bite an infected bird, they can transmit it to humans. Dead birds can also be a good indicator of where West Nile virus is. So vector control laboratories are asking the public to report dead bird sightings so they can come out and test for the virus.
So right here we have a lot of standing water.
Prevention is the first step to fighting the bite. District Inspector David Smith was sent to this home in Natomas to look for eggs and larvae. He says mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water and they only need about a bottle cap full to survive.
It only takes about 3 days for those eggs to hatch off once the mosquitoes have laid their eggs, and a total of a week, 7 to 10 days for them to go through that full mosquito life cycle.
Inspections are a free service provided by the Vector Control District. David works with homeowners to point out problematic areas, like the water that accumulates in trash cans or flower pots after watering. If mosquitoes are airborne, he'll either spray or set mosquito traps.
Please give us a call. We're here to help. We're here to serve you. We offer free home service inspections, free repellent wipes for your outdoor evening.
Prevention is only part of fighting the bite. Protection is also important. The CDC recommends covering up anytime you go outside with long clothing or using mosquito repellent that contains DEET.
You know, I'm more scared for the younger people too, because everyone seems to think that it's an older person's infection and this is what happens, and that's not true at all. Anybody can get West Nile virus. I mean, we don't think about our kids being out doing sports outside, okay? They sweat. Mosquitoes are attracted to sweat.
Reporting on the transmission of West Nile virus, I'm John Bartel.
And if you find a dead bird, especially a crow, jay, magpie, or finch, please file a dead bird report online or call the toll-free number. That number is 877-968-2473. That's 877-WNV-BIRD. And we also have more information on how to request a home mosquito inspection on our website at abc10.com. Still ahead, they are annoying to humans, but dangerous and even deadly to pets, which you should know about a plant that could be growing in your yard right now. And we mentioned at the top of the show, the weather is getting cooler again. Let's get a check of your current temperature. Sacramento at 88, Marysville 98. But let's take a look at your 10-day forecast. Some relief on the way, not too far away. We're going to see those 80s once again, thankfully, soon. A story we first brought you onto the point a couple months ago followed a group of travelers as they made a pilgrimage to Manzanar, one of the 10 camps where more than 120,000 Japanese Americans were incarcerated during World War II. And in our story, former incarcerees shared their stories of survival. We recently were told that there was a screening of our story at a Manzanar pilgrimage reunion event. And here's what was said about the impact of the story.
Today, there's real dangers of going back in time to where groups can get discriminated against, be targeted, marginalized, even more than they already are. And I think people seeing a story like this realize that there's crews, news teams out there that can bring out the stories so that these things don't happen again.
And if you haven't seen our story, you can watch it on our website right now. Coming up tomorrow on To The Point, something dangerous, even deadly, could be growing in your yard right now. People are encouraged to get rid of it if possible. And we're talking about foxtails, which get stuck in socks and get trapped inside your house. They are dangerous and even deadly for pets, and they are growing everywhere.
They just attract these foxtails in between their toes, in their ears. They go up their private area. It's just really sad.
So tomorrow on To The Point, we'll show you what to do if your dog or your cat gets a foxtail stuck in their body, and also how you might be able to get rid of foxtails for good. So we'll have that story coming up. As always, we want to hear from you. Let us know what's going on in your community. I've got Instagram, Facebook, or you can always email me. Hope you have a great night. Stay cool, stay safe, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a good night. Hey, it's Alex. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I really love hearing from everyone, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. Reach out to me on Facebook at AlexBellTV, or you can email me at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send me a text message at 916-321-3310.